My friends, happy Monday. Hope you had a great day today. We had a nice little day in AMC, up almost 7% plus 6.8%. Overall, good day. Honestly, today I kind of anticipated we would possibly see a red day, followed by tomorrow being a push up into the earnings call. Earnings call is going to be tomorrow, right at after market close at 4 o'clock my time, 5 o'clock East Coast time, 4 o'clock Central time. So this video, kind of want to talk a little bit about what we saw today so we can anticipate what we might see tomorrow. And then also too, what I'm going to be looking for as far as earnings go in general, and kind of looking at some of the things that Adam Aaron has been tweeting out. So let's get to it. If you haven't already, please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. That's where I'm going to be tweeting out all the intraday stuff that I see. Also too, you guys know the deal. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just trying to help and educate as many people as I possibly can. Thank you for the liking and the subscribing on the channel. That always helps the most. If you like and subscribe or comment, anything along those lines, tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see more of, things of that nature, and that'll help kind of steer this channel in the correct direction. But the channel has been growing. I appreciate the feedback. Once again, I always said, 95% of my interactions with you guys have been completely awesome. So once again, at the end of the day, I'm very grateful for most of you guys. So let's just jump into the chart. Let's talk about today. So we kind of gapped up a little bit here, and that pushed us through our long-term bear trend that we have been under. So I'm going to go back. I'll come back to this, but let's go to the daily just to show you, give you an idea. I tweeted out from our wedge from up here at November the 16th is really when we kind of met our resistance and have been tumbling ever since. We've had multiple days where we have been kicked off of this. I tweeted out we had the bullish engulfing candle Thursday of last week, followed up by the dragonfly doji. Both of these are very bullish candles, and we got a nice follow through today. We pushed up out of that downtrend, and we closed above it, even if you drew this a little bit differently. So going back to the 5-minute chart, essentially what we saw today was we saw a gap up, and thankfully it didn't stay. We came back down, we closed the gap, and then we saw a nice push up. Now overall, once again, like I tweeted out, I love the fact that we were doing this. However, I would have liked to have seen some more volume with it. But when you go in and you analyze what happened on the day, so our big move up right here, so right here, this candle, this was where we saw the most volume other than the last candle of the day. And once again, guys, I'm on the 5-minute chart right here. So the next push up after that all came on really low volume. So then once we pulled back, it's no surprise that we did what? We came back here to this candle area where we were actually seeing the good volume. So we pushed up, volume started decreasing, we pulled back to the area where we were seeing the volume, and then we kind of just traded in this range right here, and then we had a real nice push, and our biggest volume of the day was right there at the end of the day when kind of overall the market started ripping. So when looking at the chart, things look good into tomorrow. Another good thing that I saw today was that right here, so you can see on the day that we had the dragonfly doji on Friday, we basically got rejected hard off the 20-day exponential moving average, and then today it acted as support for us. So a real big bullish move tomorrow would be up towards the 50-day EMA, which would be in the $21 range. That would be pretty bullish. Once again, we want to see some volume if we have a move that is going to be that big. So, pushing up that far, or red day wise would be coming back down here, testing the top of the range that we just broke out of, kind of in that 1750 before recovering. I tweeted out also too that 1850 level, just kind of draw it here for you guys real quick. So right in here, this 1850 level right in here has definitely been some resistance for us. So that's kind of what, no, that was a little too high. Yeah, So is this candle right here. So this area has been our major resistance area, and we were able to push through that. So that looks good, and we pushed through it at the end of the day, and we closed above it. So that looks good. What I would like to see is if we do retrace tomorrow, especially if it's slight, then I would definitely like to see that 1850 holding as solid support for us. But I think a move into earnings is going to be more than likely what we see. Obviously, there's a bunch of calls that'll go in the money if we go over 20, and 20 is just kind of that psychological level too. So I think overall that's going to be what I'm looking for the most. If we push up, getting up here into this $20 to $21 range, I think if we retrace also too, we can always look at our fibs. So and sometimes, guys, I've been getting a lot of questions about my fibs don't look like yours. Make sure, if you want to look at things the way I'm looking at them, make sure you're in log scale on TradingView or whatever you're looking at trading-wise. Make sure you're in log scale, and make sure your fibs are set to log scale as well. So, once again, you can see the 382 acted as great support for us today. So we closed just below the 236. So moving above that 236, if we do retrace, like I said, the 1769, 1750 areas are 382. The 0.5 is 1677. The 0.618 is 1589. I was telling Trey and Dave and some of the other guys today, honestly, this dragonfly right here, I kind of thought we might get kicked off, come down here for one more touch of the 6.8 before we really started pushing up. And it definitely still could happen, but I was kind of surprised it didn't happen today. Like I said, I kind of thought we would have more of a red day today and then a green day leading up into earnings. And so having said that, let's talk about earnings real quick. So for the most part, AMC, and I'm just going to pull up, sorry, I'm not used to doing it on desktop. So I'm going to pull up Adam Aaron's Twitter account when we start to talk about this. So we know from what AMC has already preliminarily released that earnings is going to be pretty solid, okay? So as of right now, AMC, what they tweeted out, I believe it was on February the 1st, they're looking at 1.17 billion, and the latest analyst estimates is 1.11. So that would be a beat on the estimate. We also know that Adam Aaron said if the overall box office did over $2 billion in Q4, that they would become cash flow positive, and I believe it did $2.4 billion. So I'm anticipating them to be cash flow positive. Also, too, we know that they've been acquiring a lot more theaters, signing new leases. They just acquired like one of the biggest theaters in the Chicago area. We got tons of awesome movies coming up. I just saw that basically all mask mandates are being lifted in some of the most liberal areas, the New York, the Californias, the Oregons. No more mask in school, things of that nature. I literally just saw that Unusual Whales, shout out to Unusual Whales, he's awesome, that the White House is telling agencies that they can drop all their mask rules. And so once again, me being the overly cynical person sometimes, I said, oh, that's convenient. COVID is over the day before the State of the Union address, so Biden will be able to get up there and say, hey, we've beaten COVID, my administration beat COVID tomorrow night, we're getting to lift mask mandates, everything along those lines. So shocker. So anyway, let's jump back into talking about AMC earnings. So first and foremost, you know, AMC has been releasing new news. Adam Aaron has been talking about how excited he is to talk about earnings. They moved up earnings a week, and so there's just a lot of reasons to think that we might see some good solid earnings beats. Now, we also know they have 1.8 billion in the bank. Now, the one thing that we don't know about is their earnings per share. They could slightly miss earnings per share, and if they do miss earnings per share based off of the preliminary, once again, what they released in early February would actually have them slightly miss earnings per share. And if that happens, we're definitely going to see a sell-off in the stock, unless we also get some amazing news to go along with it. So basically, overall, you know, you can say what you want about Adam, but him and Ryan Cohen, in my opinion, both tweet more than what they actually say. So another good thing, you know, they hired Ellen as far as rolling out their popcorn in 2022. But Adam has just been he's been talking about the short sellers right here. So he says, you know, well, you know, would you look at this? The Justice Department is pursuing a wide-ranging investigation of short sellers. Federal prosecutors are investigating whether short sellers conspire to drive down stock prices. And then he tweeted the exact same picture twice. Why would you do that? Okay, unless maybe this is an indication of, I don't know, like synthetics or fake shares. Once again, possibility. Another thing, when he tweeted this out, talking about where he was going to be donating, right here at the bottom, see what it says. This issuing is non-negotiable. So, sorry guys, I can't read it very well here on my computer, but this is another one of those things. Once again, why tweet it out twice with the cryptic writing underneath it? Also, too, Adam Aaron tweeted out on February 22nd, he's acquiring 2.3 million shares. So here's another one. It's uncertainty ahead. Okay. Also, too, he's talking about how we're starting to see some of the biggest wars in Europe from World War II 77 years ago. Uncertainty ahead. Well, what's the all-time high price of AMC? The all-time high price of AMC is 77. So there's just a lot of reasons, in my opinion, to think that if they're releasing all this news, they're basically releasing the financials ahead of time. And if anything, why would you release something ahead of time if you thought you weren't going to be able to beat that? So I think they're going to probably beat everything as far as what they've originally said. And if that's the case, also too, remember they released this back in February. Let's just go look at the exact date since I have his Twitter profile pulled up. But you know, they released all of essentially like their preliminary stuff. So yeah, right here. So February 3rd. So in my opinion, the market has probably had a chance to sort of price in a lot of this earnings. So we may not see, you know, one of those crazy big, you know, I think they would have to really miss on earnings for us to see a crazy sell-off. Now, earnings have been incredibly volatile. Like I tweeted out earlier today, I think we're seeing definitely some smaller shorts who are covering. If you are really profitable in a short right now on AMC, now would be a good time to get out of the way before earnings. So I think that's part of what we're seeing as far as the pump goes. So once again, I just think that I think we're going to have, you know, very good news as far as the earning goes. But what I personally, as an investor, am more interested in earnings, other than just how awesome they're doing right now, is I want more information about where we going in the future and how are we going to use our theaters and popcorn business and everything like that. I'm more interested in how are we going to expand, what other you know, avenues / revenues are we going to be able to generate through, whether it's, you know, setting up you know, virtual reality, you know, movie theaters or anything along those lines, just a more immersive experience. But overall, that's pretty much what I'm going to be looking for earnings wise. So one more time, jumping back into the chart, looking at it from a pure price action standpoint. You know, to me, going into earnings, being up here in the $20 to $21 range, I think would be huge. We will probably see some type of sell-off after earnings, even the one that I was talking about right here. So earnings was actually on August the 9th, and then we had a massive day where it, you know, we saw some volatility. It opened at 36, we saw a high of 37, a low of 31, and, you know, closed at 31, you know. So but then we had kind of a massive run afterwards. So I wouldn't get too stressed out, guys, even if we see a sell-off tomorrow. So long as the earnings are good, so long as the earnings are bullish, so long as they're beating the earnings or at least doing what they've said they're going to do, then even if we see some pullback tomorrow, I think we'll see continuous bullish moves in the future. So that's pretty much what I got for you guys today. That's what I'm looking for fundamentally from AMC. I want to hear that we're going to continue growing, even though I don't believe, this is not so much a fundamental play as it is a technical play for me. Although I do believe the fundamentals are getting better every single day. And I believe AMC stock, like I've said before, I think it's a $30 to $40 stock all day long just based on the fundamentals. So I personally think that this is a great time to buy AMC stock, even if you look for only a move back, to the $30 or the $40 area. But obviously, there's tons of people in this play for way more than that, and I'm a believer in that as well. So get excited about earnings, but temper your expectations. We have no idea. It just seems weird to me that they've talked so much about. They've already given us so many numbers. They gave us an update today about where they're at cryptocurrency. So it's like, what are we going to talk about in earnings unless, they may have some stuff up their sleeve. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it. I'm approaching it very excited, but very cautious at the same time. So once again, my friends, upside tomorrow, I'd be looking for a $20, $21 move towards the upside. Downside tomorrow, we want that 1850 to hold. If not that, we want the 1750 to hold, and all the fib retracements that I already went over. But you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow. It's probably going to be, pretty crazy. A lot of information coming out, so y'all be good. I'll see you then.